The world of racing video games is experiencing a surge of activity after a 6-month lull. Exciting announcements include Wreckfest 2, the imminent release of Test Drive Solar Crown and Carrick Street, and EA revealing promising updates for the Need for Speed franchise. Yeah, you heard right, something cool is going to happen for the Need for Speed franchise, but unfortunately, I'm telling you right now, we're not talking about a new game, even though we'd all love to see a new Need for Speed. Either a real new game or a remake of Need for Speed Most Wanted, for example. That would really be a pleasure. So no, unfortunately, no new game to sink your teeth into. Maybe there will be an announcement during Gamescom. It's entirely possible. You never know. A new Need for Speed at the end of 2024. That would be the icing on the cake. But while waiting for a possible new game, they continue to support Need for Speed Unbound. So don't leave the video just yet. I know that here there are a lot of people who don't like Need for Speed Unbound, and honestly, I'm more or less one of them. I've really struggled with this game since its release, but there's a really cool update coming with the return of an old mod that's going to please fans of the old school, Need for Speed if you will. And I think you'll be interested. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, whether you're hyped about the update or still don't care about the game. What just happened is actually quite funny. There's a new update scheduled for Need for Speed Unbound that's supposed to arrive in a few days, except someone, probably an intern at EA Games, or at least at Criterion, the developers of Need for Speed Unbound, accidentally published on Steam in advance documents that were planned for a few days from now. And in the documents that were shown on Steam, there's simply an image that shows all the new features of the next update, which is Season 8. And actually, what you need to know about Need for Speed Unbound, and maybe some of you completely missed the information because I think there are many who have kind of put the game on the back burner, is what's been happening for several updates on the game, Need for Speed. Unbound's upcoming updates draw inspiration from classic Need for Speed titles. The latest game update saw the return of a flirt mode similar to Need for Speed. Underground 2 Season 8 will continue this trend by taking inspiration from Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, bringing back more old-school elements to the game. The early Need for Speed games, like the Hot Pursuits, focused heavily on car chases as the core gameplay element. In the early 2000s, they took a break from this formula with titles like Underground and Most Wanted, where police played a role in the latter but not to the same extent as the Hot Pursuits. Until 2010 when they came back to this madness, and it gave, for me, and this is just my stupid opinion, the best Need for Speed multiplayer. It's not more complicated than that. Need for Speed, Hot for Speed. At the time, the one from 2010, also called Hot Pursuit, in English, it was a masterclass in multiplayer. So the solo was a bit boring because playing against AI, well, it doesn't break very well from a duck. But to say that in the evening after high school or after college, we would meet on the Xbox, on Xbox Live. The multiplayer game, where police faced off against pilots, was exceptional on the PlayStation Network. The game was brutally intense with constant crazy events. The next update will draw from this atmosphere, but there's no release date yet. It's expected to be revealed at Gamescom, either as a surprise release on announcement day or shortly after, within about 10 days of the event. Well, we're going to start with the most boring stuff from the update, even though it's still cool. There will obviously be new customizations of what they call the legendary cars of Need for Speed. So there I think I understood that there will be, for example, a special Agent Cross customization on the Chevrolet Corvette. New Speed Hunters customizations, that kind of stuff. There are also new cars including the Porsche 959, and that's still mega cool. Besides that, there's the Lotus Evira, but clearly I don't really care. There will be, and this already smells better, new police customizations. That means that on some cars, you will be able to install flashing lights. You will also be able to install stripes, of letters at the back of the car. Stuff where there are little screens with, for example, "Follow me" written on them. You have the famous messages that we don't want to read when we get pulled over on the highway. And especially, and this is really the thing that makes me excited about the updates, the return of the Hot Pursuit mode. So the famous Pursuit mode that will be played in 4 versus 4, with 4 players who will be police and 4 players who will be pilots. What you need to know is that, at first we might think, actually it's cool to be a pilot, but playing the police is ultra boring. If the mode is well done, balanced, and the races are long enough, it will be just as cool to play police as to play pilot. It might even be more fun. I remember that back in the day, on Hot Pursuit precisely, I spent even more time playing police because I preferred to chase people and take them down by ramming into them, rather than being the one who has to flee at all costs. And what's ultra cool is that they didn't do things by halves because, in fact, we will also have what they call pursuit technologies, because that's what made the mode ultra cool back in the day on the Hot Pursuit products. It's that as a police officer and as a pilot, so as a chaser and chased, We had objects that we could use a bit like power-ups in the end, which allowed either to inflict damage on cars to chase, or to set little traps to delay the chasers. For example, there were the electromagnetic pulse bombs. We pressed a button on the controller, and for, say, 30 seconds, all the enemy cars had their electronics bridled, and they could no longer send traps. They could no longer send power-ups. And if my memory serves me right, even the heads-up display disappeared, meaning we could no longer tell how fast we were going, and we couldn't see the minimap either. There was also a system that temporarily disabled the engine of a target car, and especially there were the damn spike strips, meaning that, as a police officer, or I also think it was the case as a pilot, we could press a button on the controller, it dropped a spike strip right behind us, and if we aimed well, we managed to burst the tires of the car behind, and we managed to get a little bit ahead of him. I don't know if there will be other technological pursuit equipment coming with this update. At Uniforce Post-Infernal, they announced 3 things, but there were more. A turbo boost was introduced above Nitro, providing mega acceleration. Police officers also gained the ability to call helicopters. There were kinds of long-range shocks that we could send to a particular car we were targeting, and it took damage. It had a life bar and everything it had with it. So what I just described to you for some may seem very old-fashioned, because I know there are a lot of people who discovered the Need for Speed franchise, after of course the Need for Speed released at the beginning of the year. Until 2010, those who only knew Need for Speed from the recent games, especially those by Ghost Games, found them focused on mixing the atmosphere of Need for Speed Most Wanted and Underground, but with less fun gameplay compared to the earlier titles. By introducing this mode to Need for Speed Unbound, it addresses the main issue that plagued the game at launch, the lack of customization. Despite having an impressive car list and an intense multiplayer mode pitting police against drivers, customization options were absent. However, indeed, we could not modify any of the cars at all. We could just change the color. Unbound allows extensive car customization, which is the game's core feature. However, it lacked a compelling multiplayer mode that encouraged replayability. This aspect is crucial for me. We need to test this further and obtain more information and details. I believe we'll see a trailer during Gamescom that will be more enticing than a mere joint photographic experts group on Steam. In any case, it is clear that Need for Speed Unbound, in recent months with the data being updated, has managed to bring players back. It's true that there was obviously a big drop after a few days of the game's release because people realized that Unbound was quite special and quite poor in content in the end. Since Volumes 6 and 7, they have successfully brought players back to the game, with people enjoying and regularly returning to play the multiplayer. This is a good thing for a game that still costs a significant amount of money. We'll see how it turns out. I think I will test this update. I think I would really like to test it, but the thing is, as I was telling you right now, the racing video game news is nonsense. There are too many games coming out at the same time, there are too many updates all at once, which means I have to make some choices. But if I have a little evening or a little afternoon free to test all this, it will be with great pleasure. Hoping still that they have fixed the main problem of information and band updates. The Season Pass is a real grind to farm. If I remember correctly, we pay to have the cars from the update, and on top of that, we have to farm for hours to unlock all the customizations. It's hellish. So if there isn't that, we are really getting close to a very, very good update, but of course, once again, we have to wait some more time to get some more precise news on the subject. In any case, very eager to test, obviously, this Unbound. With this update, I hope we will have time to do all that. In any case, I'm counting on you to give me a little bit of your opinion in the comments on what you think of this update. I'm also counting on you, of course, to leave a little like and subscribe for the next videos. If you liked the video precisely, if I already have a little moment to stream this update, know that it will be on my Twitch channel that you will find in the description and in the top comment. And so, of course, if you're interested, you can come follow me. So as soon as I launch the live, you receive a little notification. You can also use your Twitch Prime if you want to give a little boost to my channel. And then, of course, also you can use my instant gaming link that you will find under this video to buy your games cheaper while giving a boost to the channel, knowing that, of course, if you're interested, they sell Forza for cheap on instant gaming, perhaps even cheaper elsewhere. Thank you for watching this video. See you soon to discover more and continue the Gamescom big week of live streams, with hopefully lots of news, including big Forza Horizon announcements. See you very soon. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.